Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the iLeague Season 3 Southeastern Asian qualifiers. Here in the semifinals, we've got a best of three between Team Malaysia and Can't Say Whips. I am your host, Blaze, for this morning, and I'm going to be bringing you guys this game this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you may be in the international world of Dota. It's a pleasure to have you guys here, and yeah, we're going to get some troll action up in this very early on for Team Malaysia. Not only pick up the Troll Warlord, but his buddy from the Nothel realm, the Dazzle himself. So we've got Lightning versus Trolls. I played that one out in Dungeons & Dragons. It doesn't go so well for the Trolls, but in this case, one of them happens to be a little bit imbalanced. Troll Warlord looking really good this patch, has a lot of potential here, and if you combine that with the Weave for the negative armor, you've got a lot of physical damage on your hands. So the one thing Team Malaysia still needs is a way to control the Storm Spirit. Team Malaysia right now very frequently picks up Nyx Assassin for Ohio, so I think that's probably what they're going to do, where he can burn his mana, get a couple stuns on him, and that kind of thing. Seems like a really strong pick here. But overall, there's still potential for it to go either way. Both right now, Team Malaysia, I would say, are significantly favored, though. Team Malaysia are dominating the SEA scene right now. For those that don't know, they are just absolutely crushing it. They're winning over 90% of their games. Can't Say Whips, they've had a hard time. They made it through to this stage. I mean, they did beat out Arcanus Gaming, which is impressive in of itself, but it's still not taking on the Tier 1 team of SEA and coming out ahead. Right now, historically, 2-0 and 1-0 in favor of Team Malaysia is the matchups we've seen between these two teams. And honestly, CSW have lost a few of their core members. Like, they're not running the half Australian roster anymore. They've actually transitioned a lot. They have a lot of Singaporeans now. And yeah, Godot is the only one that is actually still Australian. So Godot, whatever you prefer the pronunciation, but I'm going to go with Godot. It sounds more fun. Anyway, I believe that's 343 drafting it up. And he's going to actually pick up the Lion here. Lion would have been really good against the Storm Spirit. Really good support to deal with his initiation. The Quick Hex is a great way to shut him down, and it's very unlikely he buys a BKB early against Troll Dazzle. So Lion would have been great against the Storm. Instead, CSW are able to snatch it up for themselves. And just looking at banning phase real quick, we did see initially the Beastmaster and Axe got banned out. CSW have gone for some tricky Axe play in the past with some mobile summons and stuff like that. The Venge Bat Rider is more meta relevant than I think Team Malaysia oriented. And we do see the Nyx Assassin slipping through to phase 2. So Ohio's going to snap that up, or Mushi's going to snap it up for Ohio in either case. Juggernaut and Razor were banned out by Team Malaysia. Just they already have their safe lane damage dealer. They don't need more physical damage in that capacity. They want to kind of widen their horizons. They want to get a bit of a hybrid of damage output instead of just physical over time, which is what Troll and Razor both bring. In a similar capacity, but Troll just is better at it right now. Anywho, we're going to be seeing... Sorry, just double checking. Yeah, hello guys in the chat. Nice to hear from you this fine morning. Still waking up a little bit, but should be able to get into the action pretty soon. Viper and Broodmother bans were kind of weird to me, honestly. Like, I did not expect those whatsoever. Maybe it just was something the Storm Spirit player was going to be a little bit afraid of laning against. Obviously, that you want to make sure that your matchup is favorable so you can get off to the right start. So maybe that's just something that Wedding Crash or Godot are a little bit worried about, so they'll ban out those heroes that are just difficult to lane against. I mean, really, Viper and Broodmother are lane destroyers. Even if you have something like an Earth Spike or an Arc Lightning to throw out the lane, it's just very frustrating, and it can make it that you're in a position where you can't even if you have a better draft, even if you have a better strategy or execution, and then Team Malaysia this particular morning, just maybe a little bit of luck on your side. It doesn't matter because your lanes get shut down from the draft. So they kind of take care of that. They go ahead, they pick up the Lycan instead, so they've got some tempo on their side. And we'll see what they can do with it. But this pickup is very interesting, honestly. Team Malaysia picking up the Tiny. I actually have no idea what their plans are for this one. It's usually Tiny Wisp is the combo. They've run Tiny Wisp multiple times, and it's worked out perfectly fine. But I don't know what you do with the Tiny without the Wisp. Looking just at their history here, they picked it up a few days ago, but again with the Wisp. They've picked up Tiny, 4 times. They've picked up Wisp 4 times. They have the same win rate, so I'm assuming they were in the same games, which means that to this point, Team Malaysia has yet to pick up a Tiny without a Wisp, but that seems to be the implication here. I mean, if they can get the Wisp, great, but CSW will definitely ban it out, so without getting that natural pairing between the two, I don't exactly know what the intention is. Obviously, if you right-click the Tiny, his craggy exterior makes him one of the best anti-carries in the game. Like, when you're not in BKB, you just can't hit this guy. So that's very... Actually, they don't ban out the Wisp. Maybe they can't say it. Maybe that's their problem. They can't say whips. So when Godot is asking for teammates, what should I ban? What should I ban? They're like, whips. Whips. No, can't say it. It doesn't work. No, I have no idea why they're not going to ban out the Wisp here. It seems like an appropriate ban. Team Malaysia are missing a support. They love to run dual lanes, which Tiny Wisp always does, and they're tiny. You know, it's a little mind-blowing to me that actually slipped through, and I presume that's going to be a quick snap up if they can manage it. But I mean, I still think Malaysia had a trick up their sleeve with or without the Wisp. But giving them the Wisp, I'm pretty sure they're just going to go ahead and follow through with your standard draft, and we don't get to see what alternative strategies they could find to do with the Tiny. We actually saw last week in one of the games I was casting, they actually used a support Tiny to pull the mid lane, just like used it was a random European tier 2 game, so a lot of people didn't see it, but they actually used it. It had a support Tiny. I think it was 4 anchors that actually did it, now that I think about it. 4 anchors and a sea captain. Had the Tiny, tossed the neutral camp to the lane, pulled it back, and he was able to take away from the Zeus's mid lane experience that way. Anyways, obviously Team Malaysia have plenty of time to think about this here. They've got 1 minute and 50 seconds on their hands when it comes down to that reserve time. So, can't say whips. They ran out their lineup with a Sand King. What this means is they've got 4 magic damage dealers and a Lycan. Sounds like a really bad sitcom, but essentially the Sand King, the Zeus, can put out amazing AoE magical damage. Lion, Storm Spirit, a little bit more single target focused, but in either case, able to farm up the jungle rapidly, able to, with blink daggers, just jump into the fight, go for kills, and kind of go from there. The problem I see with it is that Nyx Assassin is going to have a hell of a time this game. Spike Carapace, max that out. He'll obviously work on Mana Burn next, because the Storm Spirit. So yeah, he'll have, once he gets to around level 12, level 13, he'll have his maximum skill potential, and that's going to be extremely impactful here because, yeah, his Spike Carapace is just going to ruin half these heroes. Like, Sand King jumps in, he gets his Epicenter off, he tries to go for the Burst Strike, but he's already stunned out by that Carapace. It's just like, you can't Sandstorm against the Nyx Assassin. Just obviously, there's just so many instances of damage that you have to worry about putting out on that Nyx. And the damage reflection won't be that painful because, like I said, the Sand King's damage is over time between Epicenter and Sandstorm. And a lot of people don't know this, but between Nyx and Zeus, the passive, the static field, triggers first. So that will make it so that the Lightning Bolt always hits on Nyx, never gets reflected. But it's still stunning you, and those stuns could mean Troll Warlord walks in, hits you twice, Tiny amps that up too. Alright, so this is going to be pretty interesting here. We're actually going to be seeing the support Nyx Assassin instead of Ohio's. So the Night Stalker is going to get picked up here, and make sure my overlays are fine. Yeah, it looks good. And that's pretty interesting, because we're going to see the support Night Stalker, and that's why I thought they might be finding an alternative to just the standard Tiny Wisp fare, because they certainly have that option. Dazzle double heal, the fact that the Wisp gives the Tiny so much mobility, you can go ahead and relocate, tether him all over the map, give him the overcharge attack speed. It's all very well and good, but when you have heroes like Storm Spirit that respond to relocate so quickly, you might get double burrowed, double earth spiked. Yeah, maybe they felt it was a bit risky, and they wanted to also try a less conventional strat out. So it is going to be the support Nyx Assassin, played by Johnny, on the safe lane. We've got KOXY running that safe lane. Troll Warlord. Mid lane looks to be catch again, but I missed mid Night Stalker. Haven't seen it in quite a long time, so I'm happy to see it once again. And then Ohio Mushi, brothers of Malaysian blood. These guys have been around together for a very, very long time, and it is going to be him playing the Tiny on the off lane, and then Mushi is going to be taking the Dazzle down bottom as well. So we'll see this rune collaboration. It looks like they're seeding the top rune to the Radiant side. Zeus will pick that up and get his Oh, this is support Zeus. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say he was gonna get his bottle, but yeah, that's not happening when you're running support. So yeah, I guess Sand King will pick it up. And in the meantime, up bottom, gonna be completely controlled by the side of Team Malaysia. This bounty rune is gonna go to Night Stalker. They wanted to ensure this so that his bottle will come out at a tremendous time. And yeah, Sand King did pick it up top. So this is going to block off the central hard camp here. Like I said, stacking is very important for the Sand King, for the Storm Spirit to get off the ground. Sometimes the Zeus too. If the Zeus is safe, like down here on the safe lane, then I would have to say it's important for him to be able to get those stacks and get like 2 points in Arc Lightning to actually get off the ground in the jungle. But since he's up top, I don't know if he's going to put as much emphasis on neutral camps. And we actually do see a rotation from their initial stance. We do see essentially an aggressive tri-lane. We've got Troll Warlord Dazzle with Nyx ready to come in from the flank, and that's enough lockdown, just barely, to get a kill. I would have to say that their weakness is still control, because the Whirling Axes early on aren't as strong, but it's still going to overall be very difficult for Lycan to contest this lane. Johnny's saying, hey, you don't really get anything out of this jungle. I mean, heck, they don't even have a pull camp blocked or available to pull. So, yeah, they're going to go ahead and just say, Ohio, you go ahead. You play that 1 versus 2 tiny like you're so accustomed to as an offlaner. And, yeah, we'll just see kind of active movement from Malaysia down in the Radiant jungle. Just kind of breaking down their team strategy where they can't actually stack. If Johnny stays on top of the line and he's not able to stack up this hard camp, they really get nothing out of the early part of this laning phase. And they have no stimulus to build up their early blink daggers and such. So just looking at the last hits here, we've got 9 and 1 on Ketchikimba, 8 and 4 on the Troll Warlord, but pulling ahead is on the mid lane, Wedding Crash, 9 and 2. I mean, sure, he started the Null Talisman, he's got 2 points in Overload, so it's understandable, but it's still very important that he makes it count in the lane since he doesn't have the jungle to fall back on. So, back over to the jungle. Lycan, he's seeing that he's getting absolutely nothing from the lane. He's being zoned out. The Creequilibrium is pushed, and he doesn't have a pullback. So he says, okay, well, I'm just going to be sitting around here doing nothing. Might as well jungle. So he and the Lion are going dual jungle, pretty much level 1. He's going to need some mana very soon. Actually, I guess the clarity from the Lion could be used on him. And that's interesting. It means that the Sand King isn't going to be able to actually farm a double triple stack by rotating from the off lane into the jungle, and it means that the Lycan is not going to get his general lane progression. GPM in the lane is so much better than GPM in the jungle, unless you're Enigma, essentially. Enigma, I think, is the only hero that from level 1 can outpace his own GPM just by farming camps. People like start random heroes in the jungle, like Lifestealer and Doom, and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work for you. Like, Doom, with maximum efficiency, might be able to stack up enough with the Tornado to try to do enough, but for the most part, you're just not clearing camps fast enough. So you look at the GPM right now. KOXY 376, Balinar in the mid, he's got 327 with 11 last hits. I'll probably use him Void for quite a few of those, actually. And then down here is little Lycan, who is not in a great way. Chains is playing this Lycan today, supported by Yomu Kalampaku. I'm sure that's an alias on the support. So these two are in a bit of a way here. I mean, Lion's going to hit level 2, so he'll have both disables. Chains, he's getting some last hits as opposed to none, where he would at the bottom, so I commend that. But I think the game plan should be get 2D to level 4, since he already put 2 points in Burrow Strike. Get 2D, 2 points in Sandstorm, rotate 2D back over here, and then, okay, and then move the Lycan up top. Lycan is not going to get any more farm in this side of the map, so maybe you just bring him up top and you get him the gold that way. But as I say that, the idea gets shut down completely just by another Sentry Ward coming out. They're just controlling the Radiant jungle so well that honestly, at some point, you have to consider sending the Lycan into the Dire jungle, which is completely open. Wolves, satyrs, frolicking around in the forest. But yeah, it's just like, okay, if you have 3 camps blocked off, you can't control your lane, you're getting zoned out, and you're not getting any spawns to farm in your own jungle, just go somewhere else. Just put like essentially an off-lane Sand King, since I think they used it last century, right? Yeah, the Nyx Assassin just used it last century. So just try to Sandstorm around here, avoid the Spike Carapace and Impale, and then get experience on the Sand King. He's the only one who can survive under this pressure, and that means the Lycan needs to leave. And he's going to learn very soon, yeah, this camp is completely blocked. There's no way that was just a body blocked by anything. So 2 camps available out of the 5 in the raiding jungle, and you see Change just making his move away. Does not want any piece of that. In the meantime, Yomu Kompaku going to go Radiant Ward. Looks like up on this high ground here. And there's quite a few good wards that'll give them information on the rotation of the Night Stalker, which is all the more important, especially when it comes to the nighttime, which is just coming out in about 20 seconds here. So 2D Sand King is going to get off to a great start. I mean, you look at it, 17 last hits, 18 now on the Sand King up top. He's actually going to go almost for a kill, but no. Not going to happen with the Tiny, who's just outmaneuvering and staying back. But anyways, this Sand King is just wrecking farm early on. So this core Sand King is going to turn into a 6-minute Blink Dagger, and it's going to be really worthwhile if they can find a kill off of it. I'm trying to think of who the easiest kill is. Mushi hasn't skilled anything, so it's hard to tell between him, because you don't know if he's going to have Shallow Grave or not. Presumably he will, though. So you've got a 800 HP hero, 750 HP hero with Phase Boots, Nyx Assassin, who has the Spike Carapace, Night Stalker is 834 with 7 armor, and then you've got the Dazzle with the Shallow Grave. So trying to go for a Blink Initiation, you're going to have the Storm there too. Go Storm, Lion, and Sand King, that's how you get your kills, and then have the Zeus and the Lion farm the other lanes. Not sure if there's going to be any other lanes to have intact though, as we do see KYXY already going on the tier 1 tower. His Fervor is level 2. He's going to just kind of max that out at this point. And actually, they do connect onto Ohio here. The rotation comes in, but where's that Shallow Grave? Dazzle trying to get it, but he actually gets burrow struck. And Ohio's hiding in the trees. Does not have any tree cutters, so he's going to get pincered in here. But one good right click against 2D. And it's actually going to be first blood against the Lion. Toss from Ohio. They get a 2 for 0. Great rotation. And the Shallow Grave isn't even needed. Of all things, the Shallow Grave isn't even committed to save the Tiny. He just uses the magic stick and jukes in the trees. It looks like HYHY was right after all. You just keep juking. Actually going to be some good damage onto the Wedding Crash. It looks like he'll be able to haste out though, and he's just about to hit level 6 with this next creep. So he'll go in pretty hard. Lion connects with the Air Spike, but again, Night Stalker very tanky. Bottle Sips, Magic Stick, he's fine. And Wedding Crash only really is going to be comfortable with this haster and keeping him up. Now, it is worth noting that Night Stalker doesn't have Silence yet. If you look at his skill build right now, Ketcha Gempo went for 302. So while he may be a swift little hunter in the night, it does mean he has no Crippling Fear to cancel the Ball Lightning to prevent that spell. Oh, Ohio almost got a chance on the Lion. This Avatos does quite a bit of damage, but you want that extra grow too, for the extra right click, the extra movement speed, and even I think some toss damage from that enhancement tool. But gonna go on 2D here just for the right clicks, just for the last hits. Just getting the easy money. Wedding Crash, he needs to make something happen. If they're going to be able to bail themselves out of this one, they need to make the Storm Spirit and get him involved. And actually, here's something they could have done that I'm surprised they didn't do earlier. Rotate the Zeus in, Lightning Bolt down some sentries. And what he did, the reason he just left it is he actually Lightning Bolted and then he clicked it and saw the duration. He's like, oh, why would I waste 75 more mana when it's already dead? But yeah, I'm actually quite surprised I didn't bring the Zeus in a lot sooner and just try to at least open up 2 camps. That would have made it a lot better for CSW. Anyways, we've got a rotation. It looks like it almost got voided thanks to the fact that he TP'd on the Observer Ward, but he TP's all the way home and just grabs his boots up. So quick item tally. We're going to be looking at the Phase Boots early on the Night Stalker and the Troll, so they're going to be mobile, they're going to be active. Beyond that, I can't tell you if this Tiny's going to go for like a Blink Dagger Assassination build, if he's going to go for your standard carry build of like an Aghanim Scepter, maybe a Drums of Endurance to build up that attack speed and movement speed he's lacking this game. But right now, just going for the bottle, keeping his mana flow sustained, and Mushi does get the Medallion, opening up early Roshan, as well as just enhancing their damage overall. Like his job this game is to enhance damage and keep people alive. The Weave is great for it. The other 2 spells, the Shallow Grave as well as the Shadow Wave, are great for it too. It is worth noting he didn't skill stats yet. He's just holding this point and finding out if he needs to cast Poison Touch this game. Because honestly, it's it's like a zoning skill mostly at level 1. You just use it for some harassment damage. You're not going to like kill somebody off of that. So if you can just forego it entirely, that's great. You would always used to always have 1 point in it because of mini stunned, but no longer the case, so it's kind of an option. They're actually going to go for the Roche now. Double damage rune, Morbid Mask, Medallion flying out. Why the heck not? What in the world could CSW do to contest this? I can't even imagine. Like, this is just going to be crushed. There's your Medallion, down to -1 armor, and KYXY's hitting it. Just insane attack speed. He's got the Fervor, he's got the Battle Trance. They might get a kill up top, though, in the meantime. Your first kill on the board for CSW against Ohio's Tiny, but it is in exchange for Roshan. Not even close to a worthy trade. Still, it's something. CSW, you got to be happy for something. They're getting the Blink Dagger on the Sand King. They're getting some farm on the Storm Spirit, who goes Soul Ring, perhaps into Bloodstone. I'm a little worried, though, if he goes into the Bloodstone, that he's just going to get silenced and killed before he can really make use of that extra mana. Like, the HP is nice, and he can definitely snowball with the charges, but more likely, he's just going to die in a crippling fear. Like, I honestly think that's going to be happening more often than not. But we'll see. For right now, it's going to be the Tier 1 tower, Death on the mid lane. Top lane, we do see KYXY rotating to pick up the Aegis, not deny it, and, of course, find his way to defend the tower. So let's look at the graphs. Early on, it does not look good for Kansai Whips. We've got over 3,000 gold in favor of Team Malaysia, now moving in towards 4K with that tower kill counting up. 3K in the experience, and most importantly, just better hope for the mid to late game. Like, I honestly feel like CSW are a tempo lineup that have to hit their timing around like the 10 to 15 minute mark. That's when you really need to just find kill, 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 and then allow the Lycan to take the towers. If you're not doing that, I don't believe that you're going to be able to accomplish too much as far as just taking control of the map. In fact, it's going to get really spooky in here when we see the darkness come out. Nighttime, darkness, and a roaming Nyx Assassin with Vendetta. Holy crap, is that nightmarish for just playing on the defense. Like, you have to be using the buddy system at the very least, and maybe having 3 or 4. We have to catch a Gemba, taking a lot of damage here. Great Epicenter coming out, and that's going to be 2 kills going your way. At least the Aegis, but KYXY does get the last hit, and now we're going to see, can they get the Grave TP out onto this Troll? They don't even get the Grave, but they do get a combo onto Lion. He goes down quickly, and now they look for more. It's already going to be a really good exchange for CSW. Even with the loss of the tower, it's actually not that bad. Like, usually you look at that, you're like, oh man, they didn't save the tower, so it's barely worth defending, but they also got the Aegis out of it. So, taking down the Troll twice, Balinar once, only exchange for the Lion and the tower, yeah, that's gonna help them a lot in terms of just giving the Lycanthrope space, as well as dealing with this Troll long term. So, actually really important that they could take that fight where they did. Great Epicenter especially. Like, I don't know if they just didn't know about 2D's Blink Dagger timing. I don't necessarily think he's revealed it yet. In either case, it was a brilliant Epicenter, and Team Malaysia are going to have to play a lot more passively. I think Ohio's either going for Midas or Blink Dagger at this point. Like, he's saving so much. It's got to be one of the two. And I would like both of them. Like, oh wow, nice stun coming in. Johnny, Spike Carapace is not going to come out in time. Thanks to the Zeus just popping off his full arsenal of spells. Tootie doing the damage, and it works out really well. Quick burst and nice duration on that stun. They get that kill. KOXY though, oh boy. Roaming all by himself, and the Radiant Observer Ward will see him as he crosses this line. So they're going to look for a Blink Stun perhaps. They just need to get a little bit mana on the Zeus. He has the Soul Ring now, so he'll make his way there. Ketchagemba is now actually the one they see. Nice Time comes out, but this ward saw everything, and they know they can kind of engage 3v2 if they just get one more hero to support. But on that note, you also have this Dire Observer Ward giving a good fork in the road, and they're going to know from both counts that that's the case. And it looks like it is going to be the Blink Dagger for Ohio, not the Hand of Midas that he could have gone. So Blink Tiny is actually a really cool build. It allows you to just jump in and 2-hit combo people. You do tons of damage with the Avatoss. When you actually use the Avalanche on somebody that's getting tossed, they get hit by it twice, or they get hit by the toss twice. In either case, you do a crazy amount of damage in a very quick burst, and we're probably going to see it here. They're making their move on bottom lane, looking for poor little Zeus. Oh man, he's only got 6 armor, 800 HP, And all I have to do is just get one stun on him, and he is absolutely dead, even with the help of that Sand King. There you go. The Impale brings him down. 2D only gets one Burrow Strike, and then he's got to be forced back. Wedding Crash out of mana here, and this is not looking good at all. They toss forward Mushi. Projectile Dazzle. That's what they're doing right now, is just throwing people into the thick of things. Great movement there with the Nyx cannon, because Nyx is actually a really great ammunition for the toss. He goes in and he's fearless. He has Spike Carapace. He can just pop that and he can disengage on his terms. The Impale as well, I mean, it's great. It really is great for the Nyx Assassin to be suddenly on the front line. That's why Nyx buys Blink Dagger all the time. But in this case, now they have the option of either blinking in and avalanche tossing, or they could toss one person in and then the tiny blinks in too. So you suddenly have two stunners blinking right on top of you, or being thrown right at you, either way. So down bottom, we have a lot of pressure coming in. The smoke, though, cue the epicenter, hide out in the trees, find a good epi, and let her rip. But you see, Malaysia are playing back this time. They're not just putting two people right here, melee range of the tower, epicenter coming out, gonna ball forward, but Ohio cancels it! Oh, what a beautiful jump from Ohio. Now Wedding Crash gets silenced. No surviving here. Ohio will be graved up to survive the Zeus. Didn't really need it, but it's good precaution. Now Zeus completely out and finished off. Meantime, mid lane will go down to the Lycanthrope's push, and Chains has got to do some absolute work here. Like, he's just got to tear through every he can, but he's going jungle. And he finds a nice stack, but Lycan's not a stack farmer, so they're going to lose the tier 2. Only exchange for the tier 1. They're going to lose 3 heroes, and it's all on Ohio's cancel there. Brilliant movement to actually blink in, avalanche toss the Sand King, and suddenly he's not able to get the epicenter off. He actually breaks the channel in the process. So great movement. I'm not sure about vision. He would have been either just on the fringe of vision and they saw him when he broke the smoke, or they actually he actually just had intuition. But in either case, great timing, great cancel, and it made that fight down bottom. It could have been a lot more dangerous from Team Malaysia with that epicenter online. Yeah. It is worth noting that, of course, 2D didn't have to break the smoke there. You play it back a little bit further, and you can still get the epi. You might miss a pulse or two, but you'll be able to Burrow Strike the rest in. So, generally, that's what you'll see when you're trying to prevent siege on a tower like that. But, yeah, he breaks the smoke. They make the play. They get the kills. So, really nicely done. Up top, we do have potential to jump on Johnny. He's vendetta up, and they're just waiting. Waiting. And there it is. Okay, they'll jump on Johnny. Spike Carapace is up, and Ohio's here for the counter gank. Big stunts coming out across the board, but it is going to be a Nyx to fall. Ohio shortly thereafter. So, actually baiting a little bit in that sense. Like, the Nyx gets in trouble, he calls for assistance, and suddenly they get 2 instead of 1. But in the mid lane, of course, you have a nighttime Night Stalker roaming around on your poor support Zeus. Like, I can't imagine many situations where he'll live. He has the TP scroll, so if Ketchigimba messes up his void timing, then yes, the Zeus will be able to escape. But for the most part, it's hopeless until he buys like a Force Staff or a Yule's or something. Anyways, it's no longer a Night Stalker, it is indeed a Day Walker. 25 seconds to darkness though, so he'll have it if he needs it. And let's check up on the items. We've got KOXY running on the Sanj and Yasha. Tons of movement speed for this guy. 452 without phase. We've got Ohio going for the Assassination Tiny. Mushi looks like he'll go for, Yule Scepter of Divinity. Just really good in multiple contexts. Disabling somebody that just blinked on you. The Sand King, for example, really good to knock him out. And they use another smoke for a play down bottom. Oh boy, they are already out of smokes. That is really early in the game to just be completely dry and being running cooldown to cooldown on that. I mean, I know you want to try to get your early game back, and I commend that idea. But since one was wasted so hard in the epicenter, now they're baiting in with the storm. He's going to get the early silence coming out, but he still will be able to ball away. 2D with the epicenter, doing damage to Ketchigimba. But the Hunter of the Night, he's so damn fast, he actually will survive. Oh my gosh, they commit so much and they get so little. In fact, 2D goes down. I can't believe it. The Night Stalker's just too tanky with the point booster and the Urn of Shadows. And he's actually going to survive. The Hunter of the Night, the Darkness pops. Oh, man, that is abysmal for the side of CSW. They waste not only the epicenter, but they waste the Smoke of Deceit. Their very last Smoke of Deceit on a fail gank. no less. Oh boy, that is disastrous. So now they're going to just have to rely on the idea that the enemy has no vision. But if you look at the map, we've got Team Malaysia with an observer ward here. Looks like Johnny's placing these out. Another one here from the Dazzle, from Mushi. Keep on forgetting he's playing support. It's so weird to see him in support instead of mid or carry or anything like that. But it's what they're doing these days, and it's working really, really well. And, yeah. Oh, that's funny. 343 actually scouts out Ohio and just says, hey, get out here. Stop trying to one-shot me, essentially. But, yeah. So you look at that vision, and you're like, okay, if you're trying to engage in a position where you take a favorable fight from Team Malaysia, you have to catch them off guard. But in order to catch them off guard, you have to come in sneakily. You just can't walk under their wards, because, again, they've got a bunch of really good wards up. And they've got Blink heroes to respond with. So they have really good reactive tools. So if they see you coming, they're going to be able to actually, oh my gosh, just make plays like that. Wedding Crash down to a couple hundred HP. 2D now on the run. And KOXY man mode, even without a BKB, just says, screw it, we can take this, guys. And going in forward. Now nice stuns from Johnny. We'll have to Vendetta soon. No, he actually gets stunned out. And they have the Necro 3 to detect him anyways. KOXY now graved up. And it looks like he's going to go down too. The summons will turn their attention to him. The Shadow Wave is enough right now to keep him alive, and they miss their stun. Ketchagamba getting pulled in. Looks like he'll be the only casualty beyond the Johnny Nyx Assassin. So in the end, still a pretty good fight for CSW. And you look at that golden experience rack up nicely. They're going to be able to push forward with that decently, but they do have some ultis on cooldown. For Team Malaysia, they've got some pretty short cooldown ultimates. Weave is only 40 seconds, the Battle Trance, of course, is only 30, and then Vendetta is only 70. Darkness is a different one to talk about. You don't usually use it as like a combat cooldown, so I'm not going to lump it in with those. But I'm just saying, with those three ultimates I listed off and Tiny's passive, they pretty much always are able to fight with their full potential, as long as it's nighttime. And actually, Johnny going in under the Sentry Ward. Nice grave. Can he actually get out, though? He'll try to carapace this. They get the Yules. KOXY gets the kill onto the Zeus with the help of Ohio. And they just heal up Johnny for the kills. Now 2D on the high ground. They see him. They're trying to kill him. But he will be able to slip out. No problem. So they're just going for the Roche. No problem at all. Once again, KOXY takes this cleanly. And that's going to be an Aegis on your Troll. KOXY. Full screen Aegis denial. No, he's going to pick it up. And actually going to be Lion trying to do a sneaky jump in, but it looks like he'll just die straight up. That was very ambitious coming in for the Lion. And what I've been talking about as far as trying to approach Team Malaysia's lineup undetected has now become all the more relevant. Suddenly, Ketchagamba has an Aghanim Scepter. The wards that I was talking about, let's not even worry about those anymore because we have clear vision, guys. Mushi actually might be bursted down. Could he be? No, the self-heals. He's going to get healed up, no problem. And that's going to kill off the Zeus. Now Ohio on the run. Will be graved up. Great grave from Mushi. And now they can actually force back Storm Spirit. No mana on him. Epicenter of the front line. Sandstorm as well. So 2D will be able to bring down Johnny's Nyx. But from there, they have no more damage left. They have to make this Burrow Strike count. Blink, Burrow Strike, not even trying for it. They're just out of gas. They're out of steam. They don't know what to do next. Now it's going to be KOXY to make his move. He's got his Aegis. He's fine going toe-to-toe. He will be completely out of mana thanks to Necros, but it's going to be 2D to jump in. Nice finger. Popping the Aegis. Mushi now uncertain about the next move. It's actually going to be his Earthbite to connect. They can chain this up decently with the Hex, but they don't even go for the Hex. They just let him run away. Yeah, if they had the Hex, maybe something could have happened there. But instead, Mushi gets hexed up after the Burrow Strike. He'll be brought down. And Ohio just clobbers the Lycan on the front line. Now 2D. Oh! 15 HP. He was silenced. He was dead to rights. But Wedding Crash jumps in, slows the Troll, stuns him out. And the Sand King lives. In fact, lives long enough to get another stun onto Tiny. These extended team fights are amazing for Kansai Whips. As the Sand King just keeps to do more and more and more in terms of Burrow Strike. So they keep spamming out their stuns, and they keep fighting, and they actually are able to take that fight overall. I know this doesn't show all the kills, the Nyx, and the so on and so forth. Obviously, there was a lot of bloodshed before that broke out. But overall, I gotta say that was definitely better for CSW. And once again, they make the Aegis trivial. Like, until BKB comes out, KOXY can't really fight even with those 2 lives. Like, he needs that BKB so desperately against this team. And I was talking about the short cooldown ultimates, showing that Malaysia are always ready to fight. Let's look at the short cooldowns on their stuns on CSW's side to show why those fights are going so well. For the Sand King, his Burrow Strike is a 2.25 second stun, but it only takes 11 seconds to come back off cooldown. The Earth Spike, 12 seconds. Hex is 30 because it is not being maxed out whatsoever, so that is a pretty long cooldown. But the Earth Spike is only 12. I'm actually going to find another jump here onto KOXY, the Grave TP. No, just popping the BKB and man fighting at 343, 4 staffed out by the Sand King, but it's not enough to keep him alive. And now they get the silence on Wedding Crasher. The Bloodstone will not save you here, my friend. Double kill for KOXY. 2 Bloodstone charges remaining for Wedding Crasher. And it's free tier 2, essentially. There's no way that they can hold it. Now the backdoor protection is down. Fervor stacks up, and KOXY does its thing. Nice medallion usage as well from Mushi, giving KOXY just that extra mitigation. So now you've got your Aghanims Gem Night Stalker, Darkness available if ever needed, and they're actually looking at the high ground. Tootie goes in quick burrow, and it looks like he'll be able to walk away with that. So now he's going to Sandstorm, pull the creep wave away from him, and then he can go for the epicenter play. Looks like he'll just caustic it actually, and Team Malaysia walk away anyways, so that's great. I saw the shapeshift pop up top. It looks like that's what they're retreating for. Tier 2 damage. Rat Dota coming in from the Lycan, trying to kind of just stretch out the map a little bit, create some space. So anyways, yeah, we've got a lot of spell spam coming in from CSW. I mean, even Electric Vortex is only 18 seconds, and that is obviously their strong point is all these powerful stuns. You get these stuns out in the fights and continuously, like 2 or 3 times over in the fights, and you're going to find some really good kills. If you don't manage those cooldowns very well, then you're going to have issues. But now the real issue that they've run into is this BKB. 9 seconds of immunity for Troll Warlord, plenty of time where those stuns mean absolutely nothing, and it's just very difficult, especially if Ohio picks up one too, which I believe he will. Now Wedding Crasher will be able to disengage. Not really getting anything out of that part of the jungle, but also not going down again. So I'm curious what the Wedding Crasher actually goes for. He either needs a BKB or a Yule Scepter that he can use on himself to get out of tough silences. He does go the BKB route. So it's a good item, but it is going to be expensive as well as not really helping his mana pool whatsoever. So it's just going to be to get into the fight and make sure you're not hit by anything from the Nyx, anything from the silence from the Night Stalker, even the stuns from the Tiny can be very painful. So all in all, that smoke up top did not work out for CSW, and again, I have to emphasize these smokes are very important because this Night Stalker is so capable of seeing everything in the trees, over the map. That 1800 clear vision with the Aghanim's Scepter and the 1100 clear vision from the Gem and True Sight, you get just so much information that you can take every fight on your terms. You can choose every good fight. Now we see Storm hiding in the tree line. Lion is there as well. If it was darkness right now, and it is, they see them all. They see Wedding Crasher. They see Lion. He's trying to blink out, but he's not able to. Now coming in Tootie all by himself with the gem. They get the gem out, so the Sandstorm means nothing, and now 343 is down. All it is as long as they can see you, they can kill you. And with that darkness pop, the clear vision kicks in, the Geometry Sights obviously still in play, and wow, that was a quick 3-for-0. I mean, they didn't have a chance to respond, not whatsoever. Now Ohio jumping in. They have vision in the night, my friend. Lycan, you're not the only one that howls at the moon here. Balinar is giving them all the information to make these jumps, and suddenly what felt like it was safe is just torn apart by Team Malaysia. Now the tier 3 is down. The Racks falling shortly after. They've got their BKB still. They're ready to fight this out as much as they need to. It will be daytime, guaranteed, for the next 40 seconds, but that's not really going to change too much. We're going to see the Racks go down, and actually a good stun combo coming out. Wedding Crash. Only level 1 mana burn, though. So now we see the Epicenter on the front line. Mushi going down. Nice movement from Tootie, and Chains is in pursuit with the Shapeshift. The only farmed hero on the side of CSW trying to run down the Nyx Assassin. While in the base, we've got the Troll Warlord, we've got the Tiny, both going down. So Lycan wants to make this buyback worth it, but he gets juked! He gets juked by Johnny! Oh man, if Johnny had the mana for the Vendetta and could just speed himself away, that would be amazing. But the Necros are pretty quick, trying to finish the job. Chains is almost going to get this kill, but he actually can't. There it is. The Thunder God's Wrath comes off cooldown, and they finish the job. It turns out, in the end, you can't run from heaven. So yeah, the Troll Warlord dies here. The Tiny dies here, just in the base, getting run down while the Night Stalker controls the backline. Really nice movement there. 2D silenced up. Couple more right clicks, avoid, and an Urn of Shadows would be enough, but there's just not enough time for it, so he just scares him off. So, double check things. Alright, so what we've got here is we almost a 10,000 net worth lead for Team Malaysia. Experience is about 6k, and complete Roche Pit control is, I think, the big thing. Aegis and Cheese, I would like bet at like 90-10 odds would go to Team Malaysia next. Actually, Weddinger Crash is out of mana. He's going to try to TP, but suddenly a Tiny shows up. The Mountain walks around the corner, and he just clobbers you one. Really easy, and even the Battle Trance involved. I didn't really get a chance to talk about this, but the reason that Tiny is actually viable here is entirely because it's a Troll Warlord lineup. With a Troll Warlord, these heroes that usually only do like so right-click damage actually do a ton. Just because... Oh, Night Stalker Illusion, that's cute. Night Stalker Illusion gives a True Sight, so the wolves can't nip at your heels a little bit. But anyways... what I'm saying is, yeah, the Troll Warlord with this enhancement of 180 damage is actually allowing the Night Stalker to hit an insane rate. Look how fast he attacks. This is a mid Night Stalker with no attack speed items, but he attacks as fast as any hard carry just because of all these steroids. The Hunter in the Night gives him a bonus of 90. Just talked about the 180 from the Battle Trance. And this is partially true for Tiny too. He's got Power Treads and he's getting Battle Trance. And that means that his biggest problem in terms of damage per second, which is actually attacking rapidly, since his base damage is taken care of from his passive, he's actually able to do so much just whenever that Battle Trance is active in terms of auto attacks. So it's entirely the Troll that makes this lineup possible. Now looking for the BKB on Ketchakemba. After this, hell, he could go for a Basher if he wanted to. I mean, it's just insane what they can do in terms of like right-click scaling in the mid to late game. Like right now, they need to get BKBs just because all the stuns I talked about. But their next items could actually be very offensive. If Night Stalker goes for a Basher next, and he's got this bonus of like 270 attack speed without even factoring his agility, like... why not just go a Skull Basher? Why not just make this Lycan's life miserable, turn it into an Abyssal Blade, and make it impossible for him to do anything? But like I said, they'll wait things out using the nighttime for now, and it will be the Roche almost guaranteed going the way of Team Malaysia. Like that, right now, Malaysia would have to be wiped out by CSW in the open battlefield in order for Malaysia to lose this Roshan. They'll scout out the exact spawn with the courier. They're like, why isn't it up yet? Why isn't it up yet? Well, it just happens to be like a 10-minute and 55-second spawn. Almost near maximum time. They're kind of forcing things right now, though. They know Roche is about to spawn. They're just going to put some damage in, and I think they fall back. The smart play here is to wait for the Aegis, wait for the cheese. It's pretty much free for you, but actually just going to go in. Tiny, blinking forward, big BKB, just railing onto this Lion. One more hit. Boom, he's gone, and now on the front line here, Wedding Crash thought he could make something of it with this BKB, but he just gets bashed down by the Troll Warlord. Oh, buddy. Ohio might go down, but no, the Grave will save him, and the Wolves will go in pursuit against that healed-up Tiny. But KXY now with the armor still affecting him. The Weave really helpful here. They're actually doing a lot of damage to the tower. They'll go for the Necro kill. Oh, it's reflected back. You see those spikes on the Necro Warrior. Johnny, very well done. He is able to get the last hit on the melee Necronomicon as well as simultaneously reflect its death last will damage output for the peer damage when you kill it. So they go ahead, they take a fight, they go walk right into the Roche Pit, and that's easy pickings for them. Poor Wedding Crasher. He thought BKB. He's like, oh man, this BKB is going to do work. I am suddenly immune to silence. I can go. I can do things, guys. I'm a real Storm. And then he gets bashed down by the Troll Warlord. Of course he gets bashed by the Troll Warlord. 10%. My ass. But, yeah, so KOXY doing really good for himself. Scotty, SNY, Lifesteal, BKB. He can go for the Butterfly next and just close this one out. Or Daedalus. Daedalus is fine too. But yeah. Ohio's got his big, awesome tree. Looking to just cleave some heads in with the Aghanim Scepter upgrade he's finally acquired. Usually use this as a farming tool, but for him, he's just using it to enhance his structural damage output. With Battle Trance, he can just like take this tower down in 3 seconds flat. And they're going to force a glyph out very early on this fight. Cheese went to the Night Stalker. The Troll Warlord, I believe, has the Aegis. And now the offensive weave brings 3-4-3 down so quickly. Goodbye, my friend. Now seeing the Wedding Crash go in the back line here. With the help of Chains, they bring down Mushi very quickly. Johnny, too, with the Necronomicon True Sight. And now it's KOXY on the front line. They're going to focus him down very shortly, I believe. Pop that Aegis and see what they can do after that. But he is kind of kiting pretty well. Nice slow coming in. Now no more shapeshift, and it looks like KOXY walks. He's got so much movement speed that he's actually able to survive. He drops his Dominator for some reason. Now we see that they will actually go and try to commit to this fight with Ketchagimba with the BKB. Aegis popped on the Troll Warlord. He wants a piece of this action, but Lion's still alive. Finger of Death, and they actually kill off the Night Stalker. Ohio almost brings down the Tiny, but he gets used up. There's the death of the Storm Spirit, and now Ohio on the run. Little Wolves pursuing, and I think they'll know. They won't find him blinking in the trees. KOXY still doing his job. Buyback from the Storm, using all his mana just to get in range, but he doesn't even get the stun back. Oh, Wedding Crasher, too many ball lightnings. If he had predicted it perfectly and had just sent out one ball lightning instead of 3, he should have been able to get on top of him, deal the damage, and stun KOXY. Instead, they have 2D do the job, but immediate response from Johnny, and that's a death again for your Sand King. Oh, just dominant right now. 29-18 your kill count. And KOXY just doesn't care. He's got lifesteal, man. He's going to fight you. And nobody has mana. The Storm doesn't have mana. The Zeus doesn't have mana. The Lycan will run down the Nyx Assassin, which is pretty solid, but reinforcements have arrived. You've got the Tiny, you've got the Troll, and you've got easy kills. Like, they've got Scotty, Maim Proc, and Bashes. An out-of-mana Storm Spirit doesn't really have long for this world. And Lycan, he got the kill on the Nyx Assassin, and then he heads for the hills. He does go for a Halberd here, so when the BKB is out for the Troll, they have one mean of controlling him, but end of the day, it has to come down to this Epicenter. Dire don't know about this. Maybe suspicious. We've seen Mushi do some cool scouting plays with couriers and stuff. Epicenter, though, gonna come out now. The Weave sees it, but it's too late. They get the Yules on him, so he won't be able to Burrow Strike, and now he's dead. So, despite getting the full Epi off, he doesn't Burrow, doesn't Sandstorm, and he does just get obliterated after that. So they called it. Game 1 in the books, guys. Team Malaysia taking a resounding victory here. 36 minutes. Quick graph check. 25k, 16k. That's your advantage. Team Malaysia were able to accumulate here throughout Game 1 of this best-of-3 series. So, again, this is the semifinals here. Oh, CSW have done well to make it this far, but now they have a mountain to climb. They have to go beyond the summit on this one because, wow. They have 2 games now to take against Team Malaysia in order to proceed forward. Team Malaysia 1-0 in the driver's seat for Game 1, looking really strong for Game 2. We'll see if Can't Say Whips can make it a ball game and take it to Game 3. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be seeing the next game coming up in just a couple of minutes here, so stay tuned, and hopefully you've enjoyed the game so far. This is, once again, iLeague Southeastern Asian Qualifier. Team Malaysia versus CSW semifinals here. And, of course, I myself am Blaze. If you enjoyed the commentary, look me up on twitter.com/BlazeCasting. Casting for now on behalf of Beyond the Summit, but I'm all over the place. Freelance Dota, best Dota. So if you do enjoy it, you want to hear me elsewhere, co-casting or primarily casting as a play-by-play, I feel my skill set definitely favors analysis, but no matter what you enjoy, hit me up on that Twitter, as well as hit up Beyond the Summit on their YouTube channel, on their Twitter account. That's where you'll see all the action for their tournaments, including iLeague, and what's going to be to come. So, thanks for tuning in once again. We'll be seeing you guys in just a few minutes for game number 2.